You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan, please get it. You can get it at CVS, Walgreens, URI. Get it, put it in your car, put it in your purse, take it out at night because the weather does affect it, but it saves lives. It certainly saves lives. My guest today is from Region 1, Prevention, Tri-County. Patty Sweet and Alyssa, welcome, both of you from Tri-County. And I want to talk a little bit about prevention because in my eyes, prevention is the key to stopping all the stuff that's going on, whether it's in the schools, whether it's in Little League, whether it's anywhere. So tell me, Patty, what you do at Tri-County, and then we'll go to Alyssa.
So we do a plethora of things at Tri-County, but I'll emphasize just a few of the things that we do. And one of the programs that we have is for older adults, where we go into the community where older adults gather, and we do a presentation called Caring for Yourself Over 50, and that's about a 40-minute presentation. And as you know, and I don't know if everybody else knows, but one of the leading causes of death in Rhode Island is accidental overdoses, and older people are also a big population that are at risk for overdoses. So during this Caring for Yourself Over 50 presentation, we try and make them aware and educate the participants about the risk of medications, opioid overdose prevention and recognition, and reversing overdoses due to opioids using the medication naloxone or Narcan, and we try and get people to understand how to be safe so that they don't overdose.
You know, that's the key. That's key for the older adults. There's not a lot of medication that the doctors can give out anymore due to the pendulum swinging too far to the left. The people who deal in substances, drug dealers, are targeting right now a lot of the elderly high-risers. Because if you have a knee replacement, you have a shoulder surgery, you're only allowed a certain amount of pain medications. And if in fact your surgery doesn't go well, that pain continues. And the doctors are very reluctant to give more meds. And now with fentanyl, people go to the street and they think they're getting an Oxycontin, and actually a good 3/4 of the Oxycontin is fentanyl. And we have accidental overdoses. But here's the really sad part about this, is that if you're under doctor's care, a lot of times there's no autopsy. So the amount of overdoses that we say over here from the Department of Health is not really a true number, because you have it over here that these people have died of an accidental overdose. Now, I will tell you, as we're taping this, over the weekend, my residential treatment facilities now are encompassing more alcohol issues than they are opioid issues. And why is that? Because the elderly folks now are afraid to go to the street to get pain meds because they're afraid of what's in the pills that they may buy. So now they're headed to the liquor stores. And that's becoming a huge problem with older folks. And if we don't get this under control as far as prevention with these kids and with these elder folks, we're going to see the overdoses rise, which they are now. The deaths are coming down because of this, but the overdoses are climbing. So we need to do a better job. The state needs to do a better job of funding the prevention groups in order to get them to get out and do their job to make everyone aware what's happening in the world today. So listen, what do you do at Tri-County?
Yeah, so my work primarily as a municipal coordinator along with being a prevention specialist is I work primarily in the town of Johnston. So Patty has 5 different municipal coalitions under her Region 1. So a lot of the work that I do is youth-based. So I do help with some of the grants that we do with the older adult population, but for the majority, a lot of the things that I do are within middle and high schools, kind of tapping into all of the different towns within the region as well. And then also doing some things with the colleges. So Rhode Island College and Bryant are 2 places that are in Patty's region. Those are the 2 colleges that we work with primarily.
So what are you seeing and what are you hearing in the elementary, middle schools, and the high schools?
So I don't work too much with the elementary schools. However, with the middle schools, they are a lot more receptive than I feel like they were in years past to a lot of the prevention programming that we're doing. They know who I am, they're familiar with my content, the things that we bring in, and they're excited about it. One of the things that we do is Escape the Vape. It's an interactive escape room that we teach students about the risks associated with vaping, but kind of in an interactive way. And just over the weekend, I had over 70 kids sign up to participate in this escape room at a middle school dance,
Wow.
which was a huge deal because, of course, they want to be with their friends and have fun and be at the dance, but instead they're actually choosing to come in and into the classroom setting and learn in a fun way.
You know, it's kind of telling of what's happening in Rhode Island right now. Last week I got a call from a high school looking for issues of breathing machines where they can tell if somebody's been drinking or not.
Oh, yeah, alcohol meters.
Yeah, and prior to that, that same particular school needed wands for their dances.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole sector in Rhode Island is under siege
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
substances. Not only that, you know, you got a mental health component to it also, which is way up on the list right
Yeah.
now. Patty, I gotta ask you a question. I know the answer, but you have to tell me the answer. How long have you been doing this?
21 years.
21 years.
21
Have you
years.
seen a movement of the needle where it's getting worse and worse?
And
and
what
worse?
substance are we relating to?
It
That
doesn't
makes
matter.
a difference.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
they're
we-
all rising.
Well, no, some of them are either staying copacetic and then some are rising. Alcohol is still as bad as it ever was, even though they say that it's been reduced slightly. Marijuana in Rhode Island is supposed to have been reduced. We're discovering that we think also that vaping marijuana is going down.
It's going down.
Yeah, it's going down.
Why do you think that?
Because, well, I just recently found out that in colleges, they did a study, a national study, and they found that college students for the first time have said that they want to quit vaping so that they can better their life and better make their mental health more healthy. And this is the first time it's ever gone down because last year they did the same study and it went up. So we feel like what's happening with the college young adults is going to trickle down to the younger kids because they all have older siblings and they have peers that have older siblings, and so they might follow suit by following the role model of the older siblings. So we think it might trickle down now to the younger
That's
ones.
very interesting. I want to talk more about that when we come back, and I also want to talk a little bit more about marijuana and legalization of marijuana and how much money that you're getting for prevention. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Tri-County, Region 1 is in the house, Patty and Alyssa. And we're talking about grants, we're talking about things that they're doing in schools, things that they're doing at the senior centers, which is very much needed. So ladies, welcome and thank you for joining me today. Patty, I want to talk a little bit about funding, grants. I know most of your initiatives paid for by grants. A
Correct.
few weeks ago, the government shut the grants down for one day. Got a overhaul of complaints from both sides of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have an opioid crisis and you're cutting the grants to deal with the opioid crisis. So what kind of grants or how many grants do you apply for to get your organization to the top, running good, doing the best that you can do?
So our grant with the Rhode Island Department of Behavioral Health Care, Developmental Disabilities, and Hospitals is my main funding for my prevention department. But then we also apply directly to the federal government.
So you got two avenues for funding.
Yes, we have state funding, even though my state funding goes through our state, but comes from the federal government.
Right.
And then we have federal funding that goes directly to SAMHSA or CDC.
Okay. And how much of your budget is predicated on grants? Is it 75%? Is it 99%?
100%.
It's 100%.
100% of my budgets are on grants.
So if there's no grants available,
Then there's no prevention available.
right, right. I want to talk a little bit about prevention too. And you can just listen to me tee off because I'm going to. The state of Rhode Island legalized marijuana about 3 years ago. As someone who was lobbying at the State House with the Substance Use Mental Health Leadership Council, they told me, let it go through, we'll take care of you. Well, they took care of us, all right. We got $0. I've met with the Cannabis Control Commission 3 times already, and we still have $0. I am putting a bill in this year, both the House and the Senate, to get funding sent to the Leadership Council in order to give it out to organizations like yours for marijuana, cannabis trainings, and information about cannabis. I've been getting a lot of reports from the hospitals that the kids that are smoking cannabis right now are starting to have hallucinations. They're starting to mix the cannabis with other drugs.
Substance, yeah.
They're vaping with cannabis, although you say it's going down, but we're hearing on the other end that it's increasing. Somebody up on Smith Street needs to pay attention to what's happening on the ground. It's not getting any better. Every time you pull up to a stop sign or a light, you can smell it. Even in the winter, when it's below 0, you can smell it.
Yeah.
If you had a magic wand, what would you ask for funding? I know you're Region 1, but obviously there's other regions that we need to consider on this. Is there a special program that you would put together for prevention on cannabis, or do you already have it?
That's a really good question. And it's never been presented in such a way on how much money I would need or what would I put together. But we always wanted to have a website specifically for cannabis. But now the Department of Health created that website. But we would still want a website for prevention specialists as opposed to the Department of Health. Theirs is for the community. We would like ours so that we could really push it through to the schools, and it would be a live document or a live website where we can continuously add to it, change the information, because it's ever changing. The way that they're smoking marijuana, the THC, the intensity. Now there's the drinks that are becoming popular. Those are in the liquor stores, and those aren't being regulated because now that's at a standstill. So there are so many things that us as prevention specialists would love to put our brains together to come up with some really good educational information and awareness campaigns where we could push out through our geofencing, because we all have our regions, push out through geofencings that will reach the families, and we could actually reach some of the kids through.
See, this is what bothers me the most, that we predicate the state budget on alcohol, marijuana, cannabis, and gambling. Three of the most highly potent issues that you can have addictions to. And we predicate our budget on it. But we don't give you or us funding to combat the problem.
Yeah.
And every child who smokes marijuana today, drinks today, they got THC in the liquor stores now. When I was a kid, the THC was only like 6%. And now I'm hearing numbers of 30, 35%. This definitely does issues with the brain.
So John, let me interrupt you for 1 second. Speaking of THC content, those THC drinks have a huge amount of THC, and they're calling it one serving. The maximum amount of THC in one can, that's saying it's one serving, we found in New Jersey, which will only come this way, was 60
milligrams
60
of THC.
milligrams of THC.
One
Do you know
serving.
how high that is? 60 milligrams in one serving.
And in Rhode Island right now, we did an environmental scan of a lot of the liquor stores and establishments within Patty's region, and we found that most of them were selling THC drinks, but the average amount of THC in each of the cans was 5 to 10. So to see a 60 milligram container with one serving size is a really drastic jump.
What's the container? Is it 12 or 16 ounces?
It's 12 ounces.
12 ounces.
Yeah.
They're
That's,
cans.
that's crazy. That is
Yeah.
absolutely unequivocally crazy. There's a market for it, but it's the wrong market.
And
So
now,
long
you're
months.
supposed to have a license to sell THC beverages in the liquor stores. However, that changed hands. But when we did the environmental scan, it was still, you got your license through DBR.
Right.
But we found a lot of liquor stores selling THC
With no
drinks
license.
with no license.
We're going to take another quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Tri-County is in the house, Region 1 Prevention Group, Patty and Alyssa. Thank you both for coming on.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you
good
for having us.
information that the public needs to hear. Now you have some lock bags. What do you have that you want to give away?
Oh, we have free lock bags, which you can put your medication in so that it is out of the reach of children, which we don't want them to get medications, and it will also deter anybody who's seeking drugs. If you want a free bag, you can email us at spcregion1 at gmail.com.
At Tri-County?
No, Gmail, I messed that up.
Okay.
And then, or you can call 404-3146, and we'll arrange for you to come and pick up your free lock bags.
Great. That's fantastic. So I look forward to working with both of you in the coming legislative session to get this marijuana funding complete.
Yeah.
And to get out there to do more trainings.
Absolutely.
And to get the general public to know the dangers of the marijuana, cannabis, and the amount of THC in the liquor stores right now. So thank you both for coming on today. Greatly appreciate it. Following the show, we have Kodak Live, a fully integrated approach to care. And next week, my guest is Emily Matthews from Family Services. And I look forward to speaking with Emily. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you see something, say something. See you next week.